So, PlayStation announced that they are going to be delaying six of the live service games out of the March 2026 deadline. Let's talk about it. Number one, let's talk about the ups and downs of PlayStation's communication method. Now, I fully believe that PlayStation's communication method has been pretty much perfect for me as it is. I like a company to be quiet until they have something tangible to deliver. One thing where I will fault them is when they announced Marathon, Fair Games and Concord. I think those were absolutely terrible moves because they presented these games in front of us without giving us a clear understanding of what these projects are, why we should be excited about it, what we're going to do in them. That was an absolutely terrible showing as far as I'm concerned, because you decide to present something to me, you should make sure that I can understand what it is that you're presenting, because I do not force you to put it in front of me. Number two, I believe that they should also stay away from announcing a project that is more than 18 months away from release. So let's say that Fair Games, for example, let's say Fair Games is one of those live service games that was delayed beyond 2026, or beyond, yeah, whatever. Let's say it's one of those games that was delayed. I have an issue with that because it's again like, why did you present this game if you were not confident that you could release it within the next 18 months? Because if you guys will remember, for me, that's my maximum amount of time. You show a game at most 18 months away from release when you are confident that you're going to hit that release date and that there will be no further delays from this point forward. Otherwise, just keep it in the back seat. Just keep it with you and present it to me when it's close to release. Ideally for me, I would love for games to be announced for the first time and then ultimately released within a 6-month window. I think that is the perfect amount of time as the consumer to actually keep the game kind of like in your thoughts and in your mind, and do whatever you need to do around your budgetary planning to, invest money in one game versus another. 6 months is plenty. For a company, they might need more time, but I really do think that 18 months is the most amount that I personally feel comfortable allowing. So let's talk about that delay of the 6 live service games. Number one, this is not Sony cutting back on the live service push. It is simply them doing what they say they will do, which is to try to have that quality assurance. The PlayStation brand is associated with quality in games, a little bit like the Apple brand is associated with quality in hardware. They don't always meet it, and yet they still have that reputation and that trust from the consumer. So it is important that though these live service games may be flops or may not achieve mainstream success, they still should kind of be upheld as these are part of PlayStation Studios. They should not dilute the brand, and they should not give the consumer reason to doubt that a PlayStation Studio symbol is going to be something that is associated with jank or just lack of polish. So they should not fail the brand altogether. And I think that's why they are being put back into the oven or kept in the oven for longer. So then let's talk about what I would like to see. Number one, I would like a shift away from policies that mean that games, live service games especially, have to be basically secondary jobs, okay? Where you've got the dailies, the weeklies, the challenges, the slow progression bars, and the battle passes, and all of these metrics that you're trying to juggle to the point where it's not fun playing the game organically anymore, but you're rather playing to a spreadsheet because you have to hit a person with a grenade that ricocheted off a rocket launcher, 3 times in a row within a single match. Otherwise, you can't unlock this next part of the program. Who wants to play like that? So please, if you're going to be a platform holder and offer multiple live service games, please just make it so that the game design allows for a person to get tangible progress and tangible rewards for playing your game, let's say just for 1 hour every night. Or maybe just 1 hour once in a while. Like where they feel like, okay, I put an hour into this game and I got some tangible results out of it. Take a look at Spider-Man 2, for example. You play an hour Spider-Man 2, and you get some tangible results at the end of it, just playing organically, just going around and completing the side missions and the side quests, and then suddenly you have currency for another suit, for another, kind of a skill point, for another progression unlock somehow, some way, or you just have fun side content like a little podcast that talks about your activities here or there. The game is rewarding you for playing. Whereas I feel like a lot of live service games, one of the aspects that I personally don't like about them is that they have a very punitive relationship with the player. It's almost like the more you invest, the more they hold your investment hostage. And so they basically just demand more and more and more from you. and they increase the tediousness, the tedium of actually playing the game, because now you can't play as naturally as you want. No, you have to play with this specific weapon on this specific game mode on this specific map and achieve this specific narrow niche objective that many times is against the actual primary objective of the match. As an example, I play World Company. And in World Company, they have all of these daily challenges and everything, and they have this weapon mastery system. They have this weapon mastery system. Now, what the weapon mastery system is supposed to be good on the face of it. It's like, oh, listen, you play with this particular weapon naturally as you would, and then the more you play, the more you unlock this mastery system, which is basically like more skins and things for your gun, right? Sounds great because you're going to play it anyway. Number one, it was not retroactive, and they introduced this quite late. So I had put in like 300 hours by then, and it's like, well, all of that you did with the weapon, no, that counts. So that's punishment. For me, that's like you're punishing me for having invested into your game before you came out with this system, and why you could have made it retroactive so I could just wake up and say, oh, I've got all of these unlocks. Thank you for playing. No, you're making it like, oh, well, you've already invested 300 hours in the game. What are you going to do? Not master your favorite weapons? And then number two, the challenges are quite generically applied all over the game. So then there are certain weapons like the sniper rifles that take far longer to master because it's a lot harder to kill people with a sniper rifle if you are not glitching the game or if you're just playing naturally. So while a SMG or an assault weapon is actually quite fun and well balanced, certain things like shotguns or sniper rifles, which are much more particular in depending on the game mode that you play, just make it impossible to really get like a good sense of progression because they just had this blanket challenge system being put in the game. So the last thing that I will say is that don't let it be pay to win, and don't let the cosmetics cost an arm and a leg. I am so tired of the $15 to $20 to $25 to $100 skins. Can we just talk about that for a minute? Back in the day, whether you was multiplayer or single player games, once you unlock the cosmetic, a lot of games will give you like alternate armor options, alternate skins options, color wheels, so that you could specialize and customize your game to your liking. And it would just be part of the game and part of the natural progression. Or if you pay for a skin, it just came with it, the ability to customize it further and make it more your own. Nowadays, they sell different colorways. They literally just reskin the same exact cosmetic. They change some colorways around and then they want to charge you another $15, another $20. I don't like it. I don't like it. So my final hope for these live service games from PlayStation is that I think they should follow something akin to the GT7 model, Gran Turismo 7 model, in some ways. Not in the credit packs. I believe that Gran Turismo's credit packs are way overpriced. $30 or £30 for 2 million credits is ridiculous amounts of money for very little return on investment. So not in that way do I want them to follow it. But I will say that Gran Turismo 7 has many ways of making tangible progress within the game. From the menus to how many credits are dished out to the special time trial challenges, there are many ways to unlock some of the most expensive cars in the game by just playing the game. And it doesn't take you 25 hours to do it either. Like, so many of these things are accessible. Whenever you take a look at, so for example over here, taking a look at how many total credits it costs to get in the game, 489 million credits sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. However, certain people have found ways to generate easily 4 million credits per hour. So in this case, again, this is backdated a little bit, this is 2022, but I believe now it will be closer to 550 million credits. But still, within 200 hours, you could get every single car in the game, which is not an objective, but it is a goal that you could set for yourself. But the point is, 200 hours is nothing compared to the thousands of hours that many live server games demand of you to make any significant progress at all. And then finally, the Gran Turismo 7 trophy list over here, it says that it will only take about a month in order for you to unlock the entire platinum. So I think that when it comes to actually rewarding the player for playing the game, Gran Turismo 7 stands as a pillar and being like, okay, you can have fun playing this game even on 1 hour once in a while. Because at the end of an hour playthrough, a 2-hour playthrough with Gran Turismo, you are typically, left in a position where you can make progress somehow in something in a way that is actually tangible and meaningful. If you're a savior for a particular car, you're making your way there. If you are, just like me and you just play more casually and you don't really care which car you get, you just want to see that number go up in your car collection level, then it allows for that too. And if you want to go for specific challenges, whether those are the time trials, whether those are the, licenses, whether those are multiplayer races, it can actually challenge your skill and get you to be a better person at playing the game, a better gamer. So I like Gran Turismo 7 for that. So that's my final my final note on PlayStation's live service games. I personally do not believe that these live service games are all going to be successful. What I would like to see from them is 2 or 3 experiences that are highly polished and that have the niche audience. Like you take a look at Ghost of Tsushima's Legends mode, which is a highly polished experience and it has this niche. You take a look at what the Last of Us factions were. It had this niche, it had its polished experience to a point. It has some bugs, of course, but it was a good experience and it had that niche. I'm not sure that I want PlayStation to impose a requirement for success on the level of Fortnite or GTA Online or Call of Duty Warzone on these live service games. I think that would be a mistake. I think that if you're offering 6 different live service games within a relatively short period of time, then you should make it so that maybe 2, maximum of 3 of those live service games are going to appeal to the same player so that they should feel like, oh, I can rotate between these live services and I can make significant impact on one thing versus another. And I don't have to basically throw away every other type of game out of the door in order to do this second or third job playing this game. So keep it fun, keep it gaming, and keep it something that is actually quite attainable by people that only have 1 or 2 hours a night to play.